Hello, it's Steven with Shear Mobility and Affordable Grooming Shears. Today, we're making a video on chunking and thinning shears. And the video specifically will be about why do teeth jam against the cutting blade of my thinning or chunking shears. And typically, what will happen is you'll be cutting away and the teeth about halfway point down towards the handle, a tooth, or maybe a couple teeth, will jam against the cutting blade. But very rarely do you see a tooth midway up to the tip ever cut. And the reason this is because we need to fill the gap, the space in the finger holes. If you put your finger, your ring finger, or your thumb in too far, you will apply side pressure inadvertently and squeeze the blades together and they will catch. So what we want to do is educate everyone on how to properly put gel inserts in these holes to prevent that from ever happening again. Now, gel inserts. They come in so many different sizes, colors, all sorts of different shapes. As you can see, I have bags and bags and bags full of them. And the reason why is no two shears are alike. We all have different handle designs. We all have different fingers. Some have long fingers, some have short fingers, some have pudgy fingers, some have skinny fingers. So we need a variety of inserts for everyone. So, how do we determine on what inserts are the best? Just simply sliding any old insert into a shear, like such, doesn't mean that it's correct. It's kind of like buying shoes. If you have shoes that are too short, your toes are going to hurt. If you have shoes that are too long, you're going to trip. It's kind of like gel inserts. Just because we have a gel insert in there doesn't mean it's correct. We got to have a properly fitting gel inserts for each and every finger. And that's what I'm going to try to teach you. Now I'm going to pop these out so we can start over. Now, we're going to work on the thumb first. We'll do one finger at a time. We don't want our thumb, can we see that? We don't want our thumb to go in too far. Actually, we only want the tip of the thumb to be inside the thumb ring. As little as thumb as possible goes in. All right, the reason why is because that's the thumb blade is doing the cutting. All right. Your finger blade is your positional blade. It's your holding blade. So what's happening is your thumb is doing all the cutting. So that's a very important part of why the teeth will jam, is because a lot of times our thumbs go in too far. And sometimes we start off cutting and it's fine. But then all of a sudden your thumb works its way into the thumb hole and then wham, it hits. So we want to prevent that from happening. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dig through our inserts, all different sizes and shapes, and we're going to figure out, okay, which one can we put in? Now, obviously, this one's going to be way too big. All right? This one is going to be way too small because when we put it in, it's just going to pop out. We can't have that. So what we want is something that's just right. Now, it should be a little bit bigger because if it just pops in so easy and just snap in, it's not going to stay in there because as soon as I put my thumb in, it's going to pop out. So we need something a little bit bigger. So what we're going to do is, I got some more over here. I'm going to use different color gel inserts, hopefully that we can see a little bit better on what I'm doing. This is what's called a large insert, which is probably the most popular sized insert. And I'm going to start with that. And you can see it is bigger than the thumb hole, but that's okay. Because what we're going to do, and I'm going to try to show you, I put the insert in. Now notice how I roll the top out. So the bottom and the sides are in. Can we see that on the camera? Okay. See how the top is out? And then what I do is I roll the top back in, and it pops it right on in. All right, now, my thumb is still going in too far. Can we see that? What I want is I just want the tip of my thumb to go inside that scissor to prevent any side pressure. So what I'm going to do is one of the most popular gel inserts that no one ever uses because they're always so small, because I always get requests on the internet of, Steven, I want gel inserts, but don't give me any small ones. This, believe it or not, the small is the most important gel insert that everyone should be using, but nobody does. So what we're going to do is, and why it's so important is, my thumb still goes in too far. I'm going to be applying side pressure. What I do now is I take the small, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the sides and the bottom in. I'm going to push the top out. And then I'm going to roll the top back in. Can we see that with the two different colors? How we have two inserts in? Now watch my thumb. See, just the tip of my thumb is inside the chunking shear. Can you see that? All right, great. Now the finger. This is the one that everyone forgets about. Everyone who emails me says, I have a gel insert in my thumb, I don't understand. Well, chances are the thumb's going in too far, but then I'll ask them about the finger ring. And 99% of the time, I don't have a finger ring in. And that's trouble. Because what happens is, you have your thumb in, you have your ring finger in, and I don't want to do this to this shear, but what happens is you start cutting and you put your ring finger on like a 45-degree angle and you start cutting. And what I'm trying to do is try to prevent me from jamming the scissor accidentally. What you do is when you don't even realize you're doing it, you bend that ring finger at a 45-degree angle, you're squeezing the blades together, and now, if we can use our imagination, now there's hair in between here, and wham, it catches. So kind of like this one, all right? We have a thumb that goes in too far, ring finger that goes in. Watch this. See how it's catching? I can still close it, but hopefully the video can show it catch. Trust me, if you can't see it, it's catching. That's because my thumb's in too far, my ring finger is in too far, and it's bending. I'm squeezing, I'm making this happen. The teeth are catching. We want to stop that. So we get the thumb corrected. Now we go for the ring finger. Once again, if they're in too small, they're going to just pop right on out. We want a little bit bigger. All right, this was a medium. This is going to be a large. My ring finger is still going in too far. All right. This is why they make different sizes. Can you see how the purple one has a much thicker wall than the green one? That's because I have skinny fingers. So what I'm going to do is, this is an extra large, which is too big. This is a large. See how thick the wall is on the green one compared to the blue one? I'm going to pop the green one in, and you can see the green one's a little bit too big. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom in. I'm going to push the top out. Can you see that? And I'm going to roll the top back in. And voila, it's in place. Now my thumb, just the tip of my thumb, my ring finger, sitting right at the first knuckle. It can go in just a little bit more. And I guarantee you, I can cut all day long, as many dogs as I want, and I guarantee you, the teeth will never catch. Now, it doesn't matter. I see scissors every day. All sorts of brands, makes, models. They're made in China, Korea, Japan. I don't care. They come from all over the place. We all have issues with teeth hitting against the cutting blade. Trust me. 90% of the time, it's not the shear. I'm not saying it can't be the shear, because it certainly can be. But 90% of the time, it's because an improperly fitted shear to your hand. That's why it's critical to buy all sorts of different sizes and then snap them together to make sure your finger is not going in too far, or your thumb way too big. So it's great to have a variety. Another thing that's great to have, make sure you get the squishy gel ones. They're much easier to work with than those cheap plastic hard ones. Take them and throw them out. The squishy ones. This is the only ones that we sell are the squishy ones. All right? Another thing is a lot of people will say, Steven, I have so much trouble trying to get them into my scissors. Here's another trick for you. A glass of water. Now you say, what is a glass of water going to do for me? What I do is I just take normal tap water, and it's as hot as I can get it. And what I'll do is I'll take the insert and I'll drop it in. I'll take something to gather the insert out. And usually I'll dry it off like on my pant leg or something like that. And what that does is if it sits in there long enough, and I'm only talking maybe 15, 20 seconds, the hot water makes it even more pliable and easier to put in. All right, just a little trick. I learned this trick living in Buffalo, New York, and it's cold and things get frozen and hard. And that's just a little trick that if you're having difficulties, just grab some normal tap water, warm it up, plop that insert in, let it sit in there for 20 seconds, pull it out, and you're good to go. That's another little trick. Now, something I was thinking about. A lot of times, dog groomers, you're using a longer shear. Longer shears, you have a difficulty of cutting, a lot of times when the shear starts dulling, especially, at the tip of the shear. So what you do is you're having trouble with the tip of the shear cutting. So what you do is you put your side pressure on there because you're squeezing the blades together to get the hair to cut out here. Then a lot of times you get your shear back from being sharpened, and you're so used to putting that side pressure on the shear because it was dull when you sent it out. Now you pick that shear up, that's sharp, and you go right back to what you were doing, putting that side pressure on, and then all of a sudden, wham! All right, because you're not used to just letting the shear do the work. If you have properly fitted shears, let the tool do the job. All right? There should be no need to squeeze any blades together. Just let your thumb do the job. By preventing your fingers from going in too far, either your ring finger or your thumb, that's the key. It won't allow you. I can't. I'm trying. Trust me, I'm trying to squeeze these blades together. I cannot. I can't because my fingers aren't going in far enough. But if I can put a 45-degree angle, or I don't know if you can put a 90-degree angle, but you put a bend in your ring finger and your thumb's in too far, I guarantee you, can you hear that? That tooth is going to catch. And 99% of the time, if your tooth is catching, say the fourth or fifth tooth in, what's that, about a half inch from the actual pivot point, estimated? If you have the tooth catching right here, chances are, I guarantee you actually, you use side pressure. And I'm not saying you did it on purpose, it was inadvertently maybe, and wham, it hits. It's because your fingers aren't properly fitted into your shears. All right? So whatever brand you buy, that's all great. That's cool. You buy the brand that works for you. That's all that matters. But make sure, purchase some gel inserts. And purchase a lot of them. Because you never know. Look at them all. And this is just some I randomly grabbed. They're inexpensive. We'll put them on our website, www.affordablegroomingshears.com, in the next day or two. These inserts are 50 cents a piece. In the grand scheme of things, that 50 cents will not only save you the frustration and the aggravation of this happening, but then you have to send the scissor out or maybe call your local scissor guy to fix it, and that's going to be costly. And every time you do that and you put a nick in the blade, well, that decreases the lifespan of the scissor. Buy some gel inserts. For $5, you can get yourself more than you'll probably ever need. But get an assortment. Like I say, get some larges. Get some smalls. Something that you can pop in. Combine the two. It's critical. I hope this video helps. I'm going to post this video on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please, 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 just ask. I hope, with this being my first video, I hope it made sense. I hope you can see what's going on. If not, I'll gladly make a second video. Because this is a huge problem out there. Like I say, I get so many scissors to sharpen and repair and emails. And every day I get a email or a phone call or a scissor that the teeth are jamming. So this is very popular. So once again, if you want further instruction or the video wasn't as clear as you'd like it to be, I'll try to make another one. That's how important this is and how serious I am to try to correct the ever popular, my tooth is jamming against my cutting blade. Thank you, everyone. We can't thank you enough for all your support. And please, once again, any questions, shoot me a message. Have a great day, everyone.